All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Down Under Football Crew. We've got a special guest today on the channel, as you guys can already see. Um, it's Rob, and he's a massive, massive Man United fan. We haven't had the chance as a group to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo and his return to Man United, which has been so mad. The 24 hours, literally, we thought he was going to Man City. It was all done and dusted. Scott and I, we were exchanging tweets and replies saying loyalty in football is gone. I was sort of saying, yep, it's gone. It is what it is. And then all of a sudden, loyalty is back. It's back again. And here we are. So we'll definitely talk about that. We've got the boys Scott and RJ. Let's share some pleasantries first before we talk about what we're gonna, what we've got lined up for this show, and then we'll get into it. First of all, RJ, my man, how you doing?
Yeah, always good to get the band back together, as we like to say in the Blues Brothers. But, it's been a couple of weeks now, a few weeks or whatever. We've been running the show. It's been great fun. The live chat's always been buzzing, and I expect no different tonight, given what's unfolded in the last 4 to 5 days in the Premier League and beyond. So always a pleasure to talk football for you fine gents.
Brilliant. Scott, my man, how's things?
Have better weekends of football. As usual, always nice to be in blue territory with a beautiful thumbnail, a beautiful title for the video. Mate, but outside of football, everything's pretty dandy on my end. Everything but the football's been great.
Brilliant. Look at what Yusuf already knows who you are. This is, people are starting to know who you are, Scott, in this channel.
Not for the right reasons, Miz. Not for the right reasons.
Oh, Scott gonna hate it probably. And Yusuf's having a laugh. I'll do a shout out to the live chat very, very soon. Smash the like button, guys. Nearly 30 of you guys already. Rob, my man United fan, you must be buzzing. Cristiano Ronaldo back. Man United obviously won on the weekend as well. I mean, how's things, Rob?
Firstly, guys, thanks for having me on. It's we've talked over Twitter and stuff quite a few times, and it's nice to finally meet you, Miz, and obviously the boys I get to be with and see all the time. But yeah, it's an honor. Thank you for having me in the Lions Den. So yeah, thank you.
Don't worry, Robbie. They're pretty kind.
As soon as the whole Cristiano Ronaldo news sort of broke out, I was just thinking, we're gonna get Rob into the channel and talk a little bit about this. Live chat. Before we get the show started, just want to do a quick shout out to all you guys. You guys are brilliant, rocking up every single day, and being part of this particular channel, being part of the growth, and also showing love to the boys. Check out the boys and their YouTube channel. The link is in the description. Soon the boys will probably drop a message, which I'll pin it. And the link will be readily available. Hopefully, we pick up the numbers to close to 200, and then we can pin it and get. Hopefully, let's set a target. Let's at least try and get them 50 subscribers today. I'm sure
that's what I was going to say, Miz. Just to interject quickly, because for those that don't know, just a quick premise: the show is. It's a football thing. Rob, Scott, and I represent 3 different clubs. I'm obviously the Chelsea correspondent, Scott Arsenal, Rob Man United. We air twice a week to talk about the week that was in the Premier League and talk about Fantasy Premier League. We've just ticked over 350 subs, so I've got a little soft target that we could hit 400 tonight. I'm a bit ambitious, but dare to dream.
I think we can do that. Let's start building up the numbers. More and more people are joining in. So far now, nearly 50 people. So let's get those numbers up. Let's smash the like button so more people can join in. And then we'll drop the link very, very soon so that you guys can help out. It's a Football Thing podcast. It's a brilliant channel. The lads run it. And this particular show is a collaboration between the other side of the coin, and it's a Football Thing podcast where us Aussie boys are bringing you guys whole heap of news across not just Premier League, many different other leagues. We're going to talk about many different things. You guys are going to absolutely enjoy the show, no doubt about that. All right, let's get the show rock and rolling. Oh yeah, before I do that, quick shout out to the live chat. Nearly 50 of you guys are here. Declare, thank you so much for being here. David is here. Thank you heaps. Everyone wants to know the whole Zuma and Kounde situation. We'll talk about it 100%, but just building up this particular show, and then we will talk about the Kounde situation. I'll tell you guys the lineup as to what we're going to do in this show. Galacticus is here. Declared is here. Talal, thank you so much for joining. Yusuf, my man Jonathan is here. Justin, thank you so much for being here. Elias K, Bobby Smoky Signals, Jules, my man, thank you so much for joining. CFC Abby is here. Yeah, this is fantastic. Nearly 60 of you guys live right now. Smash the like button and let's get the show rock and rolling. All right, I love that. I love that intro, man. It's just way too good. It's so good. But let's get straight into it, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a lot of topics to talk about. Rob's obviously got time constraints as well, so we want to talk to him about the Cristiano Ronaldo situation first. Then we want to talk about the Premier League situation with Spurs being on top, Arsenal obviously in the bottom, Ozil tweet, which will be exciting to talk to Scott about. And then we'll talk about Jules Kounde situation and Zuma and apparently Marina out and all that nonsense that's gone around in social media. So stay tuned. You want to be here till the end of the show. And we'll also talk about Tammy Abraham and Italy Serie A, and also perhaps we may even touch on Celtic Rangers, where our Australian manager, Postecoglou, is over there at the moment. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Rob, let's get straight into it, my man. Cristiano Ronaldo returns to Man United. I mean, let's start from the beginning. There was all these rumors that he was going to Man City, and apparently his agent, Jorge Mendes, was meeting up with City. Paperworks were getting done. Fabrizio Romano was buzzing. He's getting the likes, the retweets, the lot. And then us boys were talking about it as well in football Twitter, and we thought that it was happening towards Man City. Then we go to bed and wake up and see that this man is moving towards Man United. I mean, what happened, Rob?
Mate, what can I say? The prodigal son is returning to the best side of Manchester. But yeah, how it unfolded was crazy, and had my heartstrings on both sides of the Queen this week. Well, it started out, like you said, with all the city links, and at the start I was just kind of like, I don't believe it. It's rumors. As a Juve fan in the Serie A as well, I was like, there wasn't a lot of talks coming out of Italy. But as it slowly started to warm up, obviously coming towards into that Friday night, I'm like, and once Fabrizio Romano started tweeting stuff, I'm like, okay, this is, there's a bit of smoke, where there's smoke, there's fire, and this is starting to warm up now. I was on a few United streams during the week too, and I was at the point where I was just saying, this is not going to happen. There's too much respect for Man United. There's too much respect for Sir Alex Ferguson. Ronaldo wouldn't do that. Throughout his whole career, he's always had that good relationship with the club, with the fans. I'm like, I just could not see this happening. So, obviously played out, and then I think I was up the whole time. I didn't go to bed Saturday morning until 2:30.
You were worried, huh? You were worried, Rob.
I was worried at one part, but then I think it was around about the 10:30 mark when Ollie had his press conference, and then just before that there was a tweet that came out and said City's not in the race anymore. They're backing out, whatever. And then straight after that is when Ollie had his press conference, and it was a bit of tongue in cheek, and they're saying we've always had a good connection with Ronaldo. If there's he was ever on the move, would also want to be in the chance of getting him back and stuff like that. Also, Allegri, he had his press conference and he kind of said, Ronaldo come and see me yesterday. He told me, yes, I want to leave the club, and it wasn't a bad leave for him leaving the club. He obviously, I think it was a bit of a shock maybe for the fans because 1 week in, and then all of a sudden these bombs just dropped out of nowhere. But and look, I don't think a lot of Juve fans have. Me personally, I haven't taken it bad because, as I've said to the boys before, I think for Juve it might even be a little bit better for them because in the last couple of years they've been so reliant on and everything's worked just straight on Ronaldo. I think they'll do better as a team. So obviously, as the rumors say, Rio's jumped in, Sir Alex Ferguson's got on the phone, what's going on? And 2:30 in the morning, I can't believe how quick it happened. It's just we got to hear we go from Romano. Not just that, the club. We normally don't announce anything to 2 weeks after Romano. Within half an hour, the club's even said, "Yep, pending medical. He's come back, and look, I personally think it was a bit of a let's stop this from happening for him going to City. Obviously, the Glazers would be loving this as a promotional and the commercial side of the things.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing as what they've done with Tom Brady. They brought someone back for the commercial side of things, and I think it's a big emotional thing as well for the fans. You know, especially with Glazers out. We've had a good window already.
Glazers in now. It's all Glazers in. There's nothing but love.
Yeah. But look, this is a fan please at the end of the day.
100%. Guys, there you go. The message there from It's a Football Thing podcast. Boys, whenever you get the chance next time as well, just drop the link so I can pin it down the track. The message here, help us hit 400 subscribers during the stream. Legends. And RJ stream every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8:30 Australian time. Look forward to seeing you there. Guys, literally the link is in the description, but very soon we're going to provide it on the pin message as well. We've got 77, nearly 80 live right now. First of all, smash the like button. And secondly, please, the target is to hit 400 subscribers for the lads. They're 50 away. Go out there and subscribe to them ASAP. If you enjoy this particular channel, you will enjoy that channel because the boys are similar minded as me. So please go out there and follow. Let's continue this conversation. RJ, I'll go to you first up. I mean, obviously it was really, really good to hear from Rob from a Man United point of view. I want to now share my sort of perspective. I know he's a rival player, and I did watch Rio Ferdinand's 5 with 5 show just the morning after when all this madness happened. And Rio was saying that when there was all these rumors about him possibly going towards Man City, they could not fathom that situation. They picked up the phone. So Alex Ferguson obviously picked up and said, what's going on? Rio did the same thing. And they asked Rio, how quick did this happen? And Rio said, literally, it happened less than 24 hours ago. It happened within 24 hours from start to the deal to the end of the deal. Madness, proper madness. And Rio was praising Edward and whatnot and saying how quick they moved on this. But I want to speak from my perspective. I know he's a rival fan, rival player, and he's done a lot of damage with Man United. But I have to say, as a kid growing up, because Ronaldo's same age as me, he's actually like a couple of months older than me. And me growing up watching him from, I suppose, 2003, Rob, if I'm not mistaken, maybe that's when he joined, 2003, 2004, something like that, when he first joined Man United, more or less around then. I was growing up, like just finished high school, into university. And not only I was enjoying, obviously, the Chelsea era during that time under, Jose Mourinho and Roman Abramovich, but similarly, I was really enjoying Cristiano Ronaldo as well. The guy was just a phenomenal player. Then obviously he went to Real Madrid, and that's where I started to think that this guy was larger than life. Like seriously, his whole demeanor, his whole personality, the persona was more than just a footballer for me, just more than. And there was always the debate between Messi and Ronaldo. And I know Messi is God gifted and Ronaldo he had to work hard to be where he is. But for me, it was always Ronaldo because of not just the footballing reasons, but other reasons where I just saw him as an inspiration. And for him coming back, I'm ecstatic, man. I'm so happy. Yes, it means there's trouble for Chelsea, perhaps, but I'm just ecstatic for the Premier League to have such a legendary player back. I mean, how you feel, RJ, about this?
Yeah, it's a nice backdrop, isn't it? Because we grew up in a similar era, and Ronaldo was always the player that had the flair and creativity. And from a neutral perspective, he always was someone that you enjoyed to watch because he was aesthetically pleasing. But not only that, he had end product. And that's very rare to blend both together, as we know that some players are either good at one or the other. But to have that combination is quite rare. It makes him so unique, so special as a talent. I suppose for me, him coming back to the Premier League now, and I think Manchester United should change their name to Power Play United, because what a move that was to just come in and just swoop in with their mega dollars, unlike us budget clubs like Arsenal and Chelsea, of course. Just kidding, Scott. But look, for me, I'm excited to see him come back, but I think I'm more interested to see, are we getting the Ronaldo that we used to know, or are we getting the one that's a yesterday's hero type version? Like, we know he's still quality. His numbers aren't lies. They they stack up against the best across Europe still. But as we know, the Premier League is a different beast to the Serie A, to Liga, to La Liga. In the sense, it's more physical, faster paced, relentless. So for me, it's how does Ollie use him? He won't be starting 60 games a season. We know that. So he's going to be an impact player. And after what I saw against Wolves, which we're not doing a match review sort of show, there was a lot to be desired, left to be desired from that performance. And I dare say once he finds his feet, he's someone that can maybe change the swing of things for United. So definitely a positive acquisition, more commercially, I think, because he's a big name superstar. But on the field, I think he's still got a lot left to offer. It's just how much. That's the burning question. I'm excited, even as a Chelsea fan. I don't mind seeing him back because, for me, I want us to have proper competition and knowing that we're up against the best. Because to be the best, you've got to beat the best, as they say. And he's one of the very best. And yeah, it's good to see him back in the league. So we'll see what this season brings us.
Do you legitimately think, like you said something there, Arj, that I don't necessarily agree with? I'll put my opinion out there. I had Man United down as title contenders prior to the signing, right? I know, and Robbie and I always chat about Robbie feels they still need a defensive mid, but when you look at their squad, there's a lot of complaints about their midfield, but their midfield does contain Bruno and Paul Pogba. So, I mean, not bad to have them guys in there. But I don't see Ronaldo being an impact player, Arj. I see him being a regular and consistent starter. Yeah. I see him being someone who's going to bang in 20-plus goals at the minimum. I am curious about how he'll go if times get tough. For Ronaldo's mentality, he's a winner. And I can see if there's a little bit of mediocrity or times get tough, it could go two ways. He could either be a real galvanizing force for Ollie. Being ex-teammates, he could really stand by him and he could solidify the squad around Ollie. Or, and I wouldn't put it past Ronaldo to bring a touch of toxicity if things go bad. You just don't know. I thought personally I was shocked by how quick the deal happened. I was shocked that he just kind of was like, yep, Juve, I'm out. But kudos to Man United. Like,
For sure.
I had the streamers ready to host a party on our stream for Rob because Rob's given me a lot of stick this season. I was ready. I was so pumped, but they did what a huge club like Man United does. They wouldn't accept no for an answer. They swooped in, and I think they've just bought themselves 20 more goals a season, minimum.
Yeah,
minimum.
Yeah.
I honestly have to agree with Scott as well. When I saw this signing, and I saw a lot of people sort of be a bit negative about it, that, this is going to be the same Ronaldo. This is a Ronaldo who's
jealousy,
36. Man. I'm like, and I'm not having a go. I love Romelu Lukaku, and I think he's a supreme player. He's obviously at his peak. Ronaldo definitely not in his peak anymore, but we need to clarify something. Cristiano Ronaldo outscored Lukaku last season.
But the context there is his majority of his goals were penalties, right? And he hasn't got the same all-round play. I don't dispute what you're saying, Scott. When I say impact player, let me be clear. I don't think he's going to be one of those 20 minutes every few games. He'll be playing every game, but I suppose what I meant was, do I see him playing 90 minutes each game like he would yesteryear? No, I don't, because he doesn't have the stamina anymore. And I'm happy to put that on the record, even though he's phenomenally fit. The Premier League is a different beast. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. But I think Man United probably will use him mostly for the scenarios. Just tap in the goals. That's it. We will create the opportunities for you. Just tap in, and if that means that at 70th minute you come off for a standing ovation in front of your home crowd, then so be it. Because I feel like that may be a bit of a situation for Man United at the moment, where I know Leeds play such an open game. You know, it's not the first time that Man United pasted them. They've done them previously as well. But then you look at the Southampton one, where it is a bit tighter, goals are hard to come by, even though with their star-studded team that they have. And I'm like Scott, I had them as one of the title contenders as well. along with City and us, of course, and Liverpool for sure, because they've spent money. Do you know what I mean? Sancho, Rafael Varane, they were in talks to get a DM. I mean, now you got yourself Cristiano Ronaldo. You got to be in the mix. Whether they win the league, that's a different story. That's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to do a madness. But nonetheless, I think, yes, commercially, definitely a plus point. But also, Rob, I want to hear from you before we wrap this segment out. I feel like Cristiano Ronaldo's presence will mean a lot to some of your youngsters, because I've already seen so many tweets. They're like, the king is back, the legend is back. I mean, these guys would have been babies when they would have seen Cristiano Ronaldo at Man United balling out. And now having this guy back, the players like Rashford, Greenwood, even Bruno Fernandes, I know he plays with him in national team, but I'm sure he's an idol, national idol for him. Pogba would absolutely love the fact that he's going to be able to play with Ronaldo. I mean, how much would that mean to the entire squad? Not just obviously market from a financial point of view for Man United, but outside of it as well, outside the field, the training ground and whatnot. How much is that going to mean for the entire team?
Massive, man. I actually think that's probably where the best part of the impact of the deal will actually come into it, man. I think on field will, like I said, he'll make an impact, but the off field is just the caliber of someone in the change room like him, someone with a winning mentality, someone as a talesman, someone who's won stuff. You know, he's the GOAT to all these people, like we're saying. So, like you said, for your youngies, like you said, your Mason Greenwood, to be training and sharing a locker room with someone as the old Cristiano Ronaldo, I think it's amazing for them. On the field, I actually think he will get a lot of games, 90 minutes. His physique is amazing. He looks after himself, and he wants to be on the field.
I mean, you watch a lot of Juve games, right? So, I mean, has he been playing enough? Or
90 minutes always for Juve. He wants to play. He doesn't want to come off the bench. He's going to be Premier League and Champions League, okay? You're not going to see him in your League Cup games and your FA Cup games, especially in the earlier rounds. Maybe if it gets deep, I think it's going to be. I think also he's come here thinking, okay, I've got a chance of winning something, because as we all know, he's a winner. Not saying he's going to win something, but I don't think he'd go to anywhere where he didn't have, there was some kind of project. Otherwise, he could have went to, like I said, a PSG, knowing that I've got the league in the bag, so there's definitely trophies, and then we can push deep in the Champions League. So they've obviously said, okay, we've got some kind of project. We want you part of this legacy to try and bring us back to the glory days. Again, that does not this signing doesn't mean we're going to win anything. All the fans hope so. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be like, okay, we're all title contenders. Cristiano's going to make us win the title. I do not think that at all. I think he'll be playing as a 9. Like I said, as Ollie said straight after the game today, I want him in and around the box. Obviously, he can play anywhere in the front three, wide left, wide right, down the middle. But exactly what RJ was saying, he's 36 now. He's coming back to the hardest and best league in the world. The physicality, save his energy. He's great aerially. Let him be a poacher. Let him score the goals. We've got creativity around him. You've got your Pogbas. You've got your Brunos, your Sanchos, your Rashfords of the world. Let him be the guy that's going to finish off, or how we've always had that low block. Exactly what you said. Leeds 5-1. They're open. When we're playing attacking, flowing football, we can score goals. Last year, we struggled with so many draws against the low block.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he comes in now, and he's got that clutch in him to get those goals over the line. So it was a big win for us.
Get
today
that header, that
exactly.
odd header. Get that tap in. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest thing for United, and just the general lift of the crowd, thinking exactly this guy won trophies with us, and he's bringing that winning mentality back to the dressing room again.
100%, man, 100%. Honestly, it's going to be a spectacle. I believe today Fabrizio Romano tweeted out that the medical's all done and dusted. Paperwork's all finished as well. He's obviously official. It's been announced. Now they're sorting out the passport situation. I mean, I can't wait to. I'm definitely going to have him on the Fantasy Premier League. I remember, I don't know about live chat, nearly 122 of you guys smash the like button, get the likes up to well over 100 straight away. We're not messing around today. We're going to talk about a lot of different things today. So get the likes up to well over 100 and check out the boys and their YouTube channel. It's pinned in the messages right now, and it's also in the description. It's a Football Thing podcast. Let's get the boys to 400 subscribers. You guys love this channel. I want you guys to give that same love to It's a Football Thing podcast right away.
Yeah.
Let's get to 400. I think we can manage to do that. We've got enough people to do that right now. So let's go and get that done. But yeah, I can't wait. I remember playing Fantasy Premier League way back then, you know, high school days, just finished high school, university. And I just had Cristiano Ronaldo as captain till the end of the season, because the man was scoring like minimum 12 to 15 points every game week. So for me, it was just...
I know it is. It's like when we got that Fabrizio tweet, I was hoping it said Ronaldo fails drug test or urine sample because he's a superhuman or something like that, but didn't quite happen. I actually think the best point Rob made, and I sort of make a comparison to Thiago Silva, it's the presence of the experience and the leadership that they bring to the dressing room. So he will bring his own individual quality, but if he can elevate the others around him by 5-10%, then he's already improved that squad to perform at its potential. So I think that's probably one of the underrated aspects of bringing a superstar that's been there, done that. You know what I mean?
100%. It's time to give it to Scott.
Let's talk more Ronaldo, boys. So how good do you guys think Ronaldo is?
We've
talk more about him.
We've talked about Ronaldo. Now it's time to get busy with Arsenal. You know what the time is, ladies and gentlemen. Live chat. Things are gonna get really, really spicy now. Scott is 3 played, 0 wins, -9 in terms of goal difference, 0 points, smack bang in the bottom of the league. But you know what? That's too easy to talk about, right? What we really want to talk about is one Mesut Ozil, which I could not believe that this guy tweeted this out. I found this so funny. I was actually, do you know what, boys? I was actually watching Hugh Weezy. I love Hugh Weezy a lot. I think he's probably the best content maker at the moment for me personally right now. And I was watching Hugh Weezy and his watch along because he's just absolutely hilarious. And then I stuck around till the end, and someone obviously tagged him on this and the reaction Hugh gave. So what I'm talking about here, ladies and gentlemen, is Mesut Ozil post Arsenal getting absolutely battered by Man City 5-0, goes on to tweet, "Trust the process," with a heartbroken and scared sort of emoji, or worried emoji. I thought this has to be a proper piss take and a half, and I could not believe what was going on. Let's go straight to Scott. Scott, my man, 3 games, 0 wins, no goals scored. I mean, surely I know this is the crazy part. I know you guys have already said this, that Arsenal fans expected to lose against City. But to lose like that, there was nothing. It was just the one particular team. And I think the possession was something around 9% or 18% or 9% in the second half, something ridiculous. Scott, what's going on, man? Talk to me. Use this as therapy, bro.
First, I want to say big ups to the people who've jumped over and subbed to the IFT pod. Yeah, I can see in the chat, Declared said, "Scott, mate, why do you even come on?" You know what, Declared? Because mate, we love football, us boys over there. So if you're going to banter me, you're going to hammer the Arsenal, at least jump over and subscribe. You don't kick a man when he's down if you're not going to reward him somehow. But you know what? And there might be some fire because, quite frankly, and I know we don't swear on this show, so I'm not going to. Let's keep it very G, but you can probably read my mind.
Yeah.
I've had it up to here at this point of talking absolute nonsense about Arsenal. I've not swayed in my convictions. I said before the season started, I was expecting nothing from the Chelsea and the City fixtures. I said that. People can go back and watch our predictions. I called that. I said before the City game, I'm expecting nothing. I said before the Chelsea game, expecting nothing. Brentford, yeah.
Not even goals, though? Not even goals?
You know what? When you look at tiers, Miz, and I've said this so many times, this is why it frustrates me. It's not at you, it's not at anyone in particular, but we're not in that tier. You can't have it both ways. You can't have the whole footballing community out there saying, oh, Arsenal banter club, they're a championship team, relegation candidates, but then everyone wets themselves when Arsenal don't get 3 points. If we're a banter club, if we're a championship team, why are people so obsessed? I reckon, Miz, you, and I love you. You're my brother from another mother. And I like these two guys too. They're
I
both
love it. I love
But
it. Give it to me, bro. Give it to me.
you have tweeted or messaged more about Arsenal than Chelsea, I reckon, this week. Before the City game, you were bigging it up. You're like, come on, let's hope for a big City win. And I called you out and I said, you want your contenders, your challengers for the title to get 3 points? I don't rate the mentality on that, Miz.
Okay, so I replied back to you saying that I don't expect Arsenal stopping City. So I don't expect Arsenal to win us a favor in that scenario. So I rather have the Mickey taken out of them. And the reason being is, and you should know it very well, man. I mean, we always are very respectful here. And I've always got the time for you. You've always got the time for us. But I see too many, cocky Arsenal fans in the timeline, and I had to give it to them. And quite a lot of them follow me. Because they want to go at me. So, I do understand the respectful Arsenal fans out there. I could come across as, oh man, not this again. But I cannot let this opportunity
You can't
go.
help yourself, Miz.
God, do you know what I mean? Like, there's not every day of the week I get to see Arsenal at the bottom of the Premier League and me being quiet about it. Come on. Do you know what I mean?
Brother,
I'm a Chelsea fan.
You guys were sitting near the bottom half last year when you ruthlessly axed your club legend or Man City club legend.
Arsenal fans had a go at us. Arsenal fans had a go. I remember, RJ, I want you to pop in on this one. Do you remember when Frank got sacked and there was a moment where Arsenal was only a point away and then they got ahead of us as soon as Tuchel took over? And I did not hear the end of it. I did not hear the end of it during that time where Arsenal fans were saying, even with us losing for 2 months straight, we ended up being ahead of you guys after you guys have spent X amount of money. So, RJ, come on, bro. Talk to me.
Like, I know Scott's treating this as therapy. He's hurt. He's scarred. It's one of the things when, you know what I mean? He's a London rival. He's seeing us doing so well and his team are, where they are, relegation contenders at this stage. And look, I'm not going to be dramatic. They're not going to get relegated or anything like that. But
RJ, can we really
he'll admit it.
Can we seriously talk about this, though? The relegation?
Don't genie up.
Scott said that we're not getting, they're going to get relegated. But honestly, RJ, their next fixtures are Norwich and Burnley. And I know Norwich, they probably beat them. But Burnley, I saw them against Leeds.
Tough game, actually.
I'm not sure. I mean... Seriously, RJ, I think they're in the mix.
Nah, for me, it's going to be a long season, put it that way. I think they're going to be mid-table at this stage. It's so early. Look, I hate being reactionary. At this stage, trend analysis suggests that they'll be in that sort of middle range bucket. But as you know, things can go up and down. If they don't pick up 6 points in these next 2 games, I see that to be a pretty dark and dire moment for someone like Arteta, because people gave him, well, like Scott's told me before, they're not counting the season until they have a proper winnable fixture, even though they should have done better against Brentford. But the reality is the fans would be hurting. You see them online, you talk to real fans like Scott. If they can't get maximum points and demonstrate some competency in the way they're playing, then it's not even about aiming high or anything, but it's about looking for improvement. Like Chelsea, like you said, Scott, we sacked club legend because the wording was around there's no return to sustainable improvement. So Arsenal first up need improvement, and then if they can get improvement, it needs to be sustainable. So if you can't get some sort of improvement on these next 2 performances that should be winnable on paper, I know it's on paper, but the writing to me surely gets closer and closer to being on the wall for Arteta, but I know who do you replace him with, because who's going to want to take over that shambolic institution at the moment. So look, I'm glad I'm not a Gunners fan, put it that way.
Hey, I want to address that question.
Yes, Scott, someone, Shakti Pudel is saying, Arsenal fans are you seeing any improvement in the rank, even if Arsenal sack Arteta, as Arsenal just contains the average players now? Please answer this also, Scott. Scott, let you have that one.
Shakti, I'm going to answer it only because I have a feeling you've subbed to IFT podcast. If you haven't subbed, though,
Shakti,
really
please go out there and sub. We don't generally do this directly, and Scott's about to answer to you directly. Let's do this.
Now, in all seriousness, before I answer Shakti's question, I do want to go back to the Ozil tweet really quickly. A few words on that. to me, this was really poor form from Mesut Ozil. Now, I understand that it was kind of like, I look at Mesut Ozil in his last year at Arsenal. It was just one of them it was like a relationship where it wasn't one person's fault. It wasn't the other person's fault. It just wasn't a good relationship. It was a toxic relationship. They needed to end it for both of them. We were paying him a significant amount of money. And you know what? Quite frankly, he did not justify that on the pitch. There were questionable, his performances were questionable. His work rate was absolute dross. The guy would walk on the pitch. Mate, I reckon the guy had the same stamina as me. And for him to do this, you know what? Concentrate on Fenerbahce. You've gone to Fenerbahce. You've hardly done anything there, further justifying why you couldn't have made it in the Premier League anymore. You concentrate on what's going on there. He's not sad or heartbroken. He's not sad about where the club's at. He's secretly just wanting to put that boot in. Now, do I like Mikel Arteta? No, I liked him as a player. I hate seeing anyone struggle. Any manager on the verge of getting sacked, even Ollie, who winds me up, Rob knows, I hate seeing a manager get sacked because that's someone's livelihood, that's someone's profession, and every manager puts their heart and soul into it. But he does need to go. You don't come out, though, Mesut Ozil, if you supposedly love the club, you don't fuel the toxicity. You don't.
But Scott, do you think this was for Arteta? I feel like this was for the club. I don't think he's having a go at Arteta here. I think he's having a go at the club because of the whole, as you know, the Ozil situation with the Uyghur Muslims and whatnot, and frozen out. And I think he's having a go at the club, and he's taking the mickey out of the club. Look, I wish he didn't do that. To be honest, I wish he didn't do that because you want to make it professional. But you can understand that there's a lot of anger inside him as well, that why couldn't you just use me? I mean, let's be honest, Scott.
He would not. I wouldn't want him in the team. I wouldn't, even if we still had him, I wouldn't want him in the team. We have enough trouble pressing as it is. The guy doesn't run. He doesn't run. He doesn't get above his slight jog. So no, I wouldn't want him anywhere near the team. He's proving him at Fenerbahce. I think he scored 1 goal in 9 appearances, and that's it.
I don't think he's that great over there either.
But I'll go back to Shakti's question quickly. Mate, I'm not seeing any improvement, Shakti. None at all. I do think if we sacked Arteta, though, and we brought someone in with some experience, we could improve our performances on the pitch. And this is, I'm not putting the boot into Chelsea here because I've called you as title favourites, yeah? You saw what Thomas Tuchel did that Frank couldn't. He's come in, took a team that was near Arsenal at one point and turned you into the champions of Europe. It does go to show that you bring the right man in for the job, they can make the most out of the squad they've got. And I look at our squad on paper, and then I look at, for example, West Ham's squad. West Ham don't have a better squad than us. They've got some players that would improve our squad, but squad as a whole, when our squad's fit and there, you can't tell me on paper they've got a better squad. Right now, we've got a manager who is not getting the best out of them. And I do think if we brought someone in with a bit of experience, we would see improvement. We wouldn't be title contenders, but we'd see improvement.
Who comes in, but I think Arsenal fans, we want Conte, we want Conte.
No, I don't want Conte.
Me and RJ would be able to say Conte would not go to Arsenal, and that's not for fans. He's a very demanding coach. He wants money, okay? And I don't think that they would have a match made in heaven at all with Arsenal, but who would you want? Just say 2-3 games in, you guys, I'm not saying, but just say he didn't get the best results, he might get 2 draws, just say that. And then the heat's really on him, and they do sack him. Who comes in, but who's at that caliber that's available at the moment to come in?
The problem is, managerially, Conte is probably the best manager out there, but he just doesn't match Arsenal's philosophy. We have spent this time, but someone like him is going to come in, demand another 150, 200 million, and he's not going to get it. He's not going to work under the Kroenke group. Look, not that we would get him, but someone like a Roberto Mancini, I would take. Good luck getting him out of where he is.
Yeah. don't
Graham
think he's
Potter
leaving
seems
Italy.
realistic. I think he could get
Eddie
more out of
Howe,
the squad.
he'd be interesting.
You
Eddie
know who
Howe.
you guys should have gone for, honestly? Probably
Thomas Tuchel.
Nuno.
Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel. You wish you got.
Get your hands off it.
We should have pulled the trigger.
Nuno, you guys should have gone for him before he went to Spurs, because I feel like he would have enjoyed that. Like, Nuno likes these sort of projects and playing with, as you've said, your players. I'm going to be honest, and this is where, and I want to hear what Rob has to say about this as well. After this, I honestly think your back line, and I know once Gabriel comes back, it's going to be a bit different. Gabriel and Ben White, I've got my reservations. I don't know if he's £50 million worth. I think he's a decent
No, he's
defender.
not 50 million. No
But
way.
he's not the level that once Arsenal was. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, besides that, you look at the lineup that you guys had for City: Rob Holding, Chambers, and who's the third one?
We had Kolasinac in
Kolasinac,
there, who was meant to be sold.
Yeah.
Rob Holding, Chambers, Kolasinac. I can't believe you guys didn't get pasted 10-0 against City, to be honest.
We should have.
That's not... I don't even think that's capable of beating... That defense is capable of keeping a clean sheet against Norwich. If that's the three you're going to play
Championship level defense at best.
At best. So, Rob, I mean, let's go to you and here. I mean, from a Man United fan's perspective, looking out, I'm sure you're probably enjoying this as well. But honestly speaking, this Arsenal team, as you said, I can't see how, like, there were some rumors apparently Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Like, I was just throwing around and I was checking in Robbie's channel, Don Robbie, and I saw that they're looking at not Dominic Calvert-Lewin, they're looking at like Origi and all these other like third tier strikers. But I feel like that's how you got to start up. You can't go for the big shots, and even with the managers as well. So, Rob, what do you got to say about all of this situation at Arsenal at the moment?
Look, man, as I've said on our show, I said to Scotty, number one, I'm not going to judge Arsenal until this next kind of 3-4 games, okay? Like I said, besides the Brentford game, no one would have picked them to beat Chelsea and no one would have picked them to beat City. They've had COVID, they've had players out. The players that have come in haven't probably had the chemistry yet, because on paper, their team is not, like last year they finished, what was it, 9th, 10th? That team should be better. Yeah, that team is better than that, okay? Yes, I know Arteta, he had the FA Cup, for a bit of his, he won the FA Cup, he had a bit of something in the bag to continue, but their team is not bad, especially in attack. It's not a bad team, man. And like, for me, I always say, I like Lacazette, personally. A lot of people don't rate him, but I think he's a decent player, but they've spent money on your Pepes, and you got your Odegaards that come from your Real Madrids, and you've got
Smith Rowe, Saka.
They've got their attack looks so good on paper, and I know anything on paper doesn't win games. And like I said, who's the guy that he's injured as well from Atletico? Thomas Partey, is it?
Thomas Partey, yeah.
That's what I mean. So at the moment, everything's just gone wrong for them at the moment. So until we get their team back and they have a couple games together, then they can be judged. Because if they're not getting, once everyone's back on the pitch, their best squad, if they're not getting results, then his head's definitely gonna be on the chopping block then.
But Rob, there will be situations where a team may not always have all the ingredients readily available. You do need to still manage to squeeze a draw or a win.
Not against
because
City and Chelsea, Miz. Not with
that's fine. Yeah, fair enough. Let's look at the fixtures that are coming up before we move on to the next topic. You got Norwich, Burnley, Wimbledon, and then you've got Tottenham, Brighton, Palace. Now, I'll go to you, Scott, to finish up this particular segment before we go to the next one. Forget what has happened. Brentford, Chelsea, and Man City. It is what it is. You guys 0 points out of 3. Are you going to have, is most of the squad going to be back? Are you positive that looking at the fixtures now, where are the 3 points that you're seeing here? Tell me honestly.
I think we'll beat Norwich. I think we'll do them. Burnley, if I had to give some long distance predictions here, I actually think it'll be a draw at Burnley. Spurs will beat us. I think Spurs too good at the moment, too much quality. And I think we'll beat Brighton and Palace. I genuinely do think we'll beat those 3 teams. Arsenal, Tottenham, again, I just said that Tottenham will do us, but North London derby. As I've said before, any derby, you never know. You never know. But I actually think
you guys
Burnley
beat them
will be-
last season, right? In the North London derby, you guys beat them, right?
Yeah, I think it was one apiece, to be honest. I think they got us once, we got them. But they're looking very good under Nuno. So they're confident. And confidence in football is such a big contributor. So, mate, tough fixtures ahead. But if it was up to me, I'd have sacked Arteta now. I'd have sacked him now. I can... And Wimbledon, AFL Cup, who knows?
I think you should win that. But looking at the fixtures, you're saying 3 out of 5 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss with.
Yeah, I think so.
Spurs.
By no means am I confident.
I don't know if you can just bank a win against Brighton. I think Brighton's been all right. I know they lost against Everton. Brighton at home, their home. I think they'll push as well. It's interesting. It's interesting times. It's absolutely interesting times. How this unfolds. I mean, look, you know what, Scott, for your sake, I hope your team, I don't want to see you upset. Honestly, I know I take the mick out of all these other Arsenal fans because I just enjoy doing that. And they do that to me as well. But obviously from your sake, I hope it does turn out all right. But, at the same time, we've seen Leeds.
I just want to see a goal. I'm not asking for much. I just want to see a score in the league.
We've seen Leeds. I remember that season when Leeds got relegated. So these sort of crazy stuff has happened. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's talk about, RJ, a very interesting situation that has happened, which is Spurs. I don't know how these guys are top of the table. I thought everything was going south for them. Harry Kane doesn't want to play for them. They can't find a manager. I think Nuno was their 7th choice manager, like by mistake as well. I think it was Nuno who was just knocking on the door like, is the job open? Like, I'm happy to take it. They weren't even looking at Nuno. But here we are, 3 games, 3 wins. I think all clean sheets.
1-0 FC, mate. 1-0 FC.
1-0 FC. 1-0 Man City. 1-0 against whoever they played. Wolves. And the one in the middle.
This week.
Wolves was last week.
Yeah, Wolves was this week. Oh, no, Wolves was last week. Yeah,
we played Wolves. Yeah.
Yeah. Wolves was last week. And this week was Norwich?
Who was it?
Who was it? Anyway, they're so irrelevant. We don't even remember anymore.
It was last night. Hold on.
Yeah. Who did Spurs play?
Live
chat, let us know. Watford. RJ, what's going on over here? Spurs, top of the table.
Pandemic, the war in Afghanistan, Spurs top of the league. You're following a trend here. Are we seeing something arising? Because it's total anarchy, isn't it? But look, I'll give them credit in the sense that they're doing what good teams do and they find a way, but they are riding their luck. I have to be honest as possible. And again, City, the game, they're very compact, very well organised, and definitely, I think, at least earned a point. So for them to get the win against City was very impressive. Against Wolves, they were extremely lucky, just as Man United were, but we won't go into that. Very lucky against Wolves, but against Watford, again, they squandered a couple of chances too and probably could have conceded. But I think they, on balance of things, deserve to win the match. The fact that they are 3-3, haven't conceded, Nuno's doing a good job to steady the ship, especially with all the noise, with Kane gone, and how are we going to replace him, and what does that mean for our prospects in terms of trying to stay relevant? You don't want to look too far into it because it's early days, but they've had a nice balance of versing teams from different ends of the spectrum as well. So they'll take confidence in that, knowing that they've been able to get the job done against teams that are going to pose different challenges. And even though that they've ridden, like I said, their luck on some occasions, that's only going to serve them well to sort of plug those gaps. So whenever they get their wins, it'll be less due to luck, but more to actually better ability and demonstrating a better performance. But I think that, they've really crept under the radar. Obviously, everybody was focusing on a Liverpool-Chelsea game. And all of a sudden, they've snuck up past both of us and have jumped into the lead, and obviously the West Ham result there. But doing a very good job at the moment, and as you can see here with Fabrizio's tweet, They have been chipping away in the transfer market, have made some astute signings as well. And I actually like defensively how they've supplemented
RJ, for me,
there.
keeping Kane, wow.
Oh, it's huge. It's like a world-class signing, isn't it? Because he just gives you... We spoke about Ronaldo and the leadership he brings. Yeah. He is part of the Tottenham institution. And if anybody's going to restore morale, not just from the fan base, from the locker room, they're going to get a boost knowing that he, Harry Kane, superstar, wants to stay around and help them. So
wants to stay around?
Look, one is
I don't know about one.
Forcefully. He's saying all the right things. But hey, his football's doing the talking at the moment, whether or not he hangs around long term. But so far, the white print, not the blueprint, is working out as intended.
I mean, Scott, for me, they're under the radar. I've got to be honest. I've not watched a single Spurs game because I just couldn't be stuffed. I was like, you know what, I can't be bothered. And they're very late at night as well. But 3 out of 3 wins. Kane staying. Kane, whatever has happened here, I know he wanted to go to City, but I'm pretty sure after the international break is all well and dusted, he's going to come back and he's going to focus on this season because it's finished. All that saga is done. I think under Nuno's should have kept them nice and solid at the back. And I know sooner or later they're gonna start hitting the big teams and maybe they could get found out. But so far, 3 out of 3 wins. I mean, that's pretty remarkable from Nuno.
Miz, having your team on the bottom of the ladder it's a disgusting feeling. Seeing Spurs at the top of the ladder. I'm usually pretty good for now. I don't even have an actually the only.
What have you done wrong, Scott? What have you done wrong, mate?
This show is gonna be horrible for Scott, man. Honestly,
I'm taking stress leave for the next 6 weeks. I'm not coming back. But in all seriousness, and I'm speaking as a neutral. Forget my jersey. Forget the setup behind me. Nuno has come in, and I've seen a few people in the chat say like it's Wolves 2.0. One thing they haven't been in any of their games so far is overly convincing. Like there have been no, 5-0s. They haven't put in the kind of performance that Chelsea put in against Arsenal. But the key of a successful team is being able to maybe win ugly or win those games that you haven't fully dominated. So for now, they're winning games. And credit to Nuno because he wasn't their first, second, third, fourth, 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th choice. But he's coming in and doing a job. Absolutely living the nightmare, man. I do wonder. I always feel like when Kane's unavailable, Son really steps up. And he plays his best football. I almost feel, and I'll probably get flamed for it. It might sound stupid. I almost feel like sometimes when Kane's in the team, Son only plays at like 75%. Because
Son wants to be the Batman. He wants to be Batman. He doesn't want to be Robin.
But it's not going to happen. So I'm wondering what impact Kane might have. In saying that, Kane never usually plays a full season. So I'm sure he'll be back out again. But it's interesting. Credit to them. They're winning games. So just don't let them win the title. I swear I swear to the Lord, if the Lord said to me, Arsenal will finish 15th, but Spurs will finish 2nd to Chelsea winning the title, I would take it right now if I had to. If the alternative was Spurs winning the title, I would take that deal. I couldn't handle them winning a title. I'd be done.
Can you imagine, boys, if Spurs win the title? Oh my God! Let's not imagine.
Don't think that into the universe, mate. Don't say that.
Let's not imagine that for a second. Let's stop. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got 150 live right now. We are going to talk about Jules Kounde right now. It is what you guys have been waiting for patiently, and we will dig deep into this, get the boys and their thoughts as well, because it is an interesting situation that is developing over here. And we will talk about the midfield stuff and Marina, the social media, the Chelsea fan base being a bit toxic about this situation, which is so crazy, in my opinion. We are the champions of Europe. I don't understand why there's toxicity around this. 160 of you guys live. Smash the like button. First of all, it's criminal that we have not even reached 100 likes here. Let's get the likes up to well over 100 straight away. Number one, you guys have been enjoying, you guys have been hanging around, so let's get that done. Number two, check out the pinned comment right away. Let's get the boys to 400 subscribers. By the way, boys, how many subscribers are we at the moment?
356, I believe.
Scott, you're on mute. 356. Come
That's
on,
fine.
guys.
We can get this done easily.
Come on, guys. 160. Go and click on that link and subscribe to the boys straight away. Let's get them to 400 subscribers. The boys and their channel, it's a football thing. It's a lovely, lovely channel. I regularly watch it now. Honestly, I'm glued to it. The conversation these boys are having are fantastic, and you guys will appreciate that as well. So let's do that. And if you can't see for some reason the pin message, the link is in the description as well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's start talking about this. Aj, I'll go to you and then I'll go to the boys about this. Jules Kounde deal is off, apparently. This is what The Athletic is saying. This is what David Owenstein has put out the article. I read the article. The situation, let me paint the picture for the live chat if you haven't read the article as yet. The picture is that we apparently had a verbal agreement with Sevilla. We had a verbal agreement with Sevilla, and I think this is why we were delaying with the whole Zuma situation. Zuma couldn't find the personal terms agreement quick enough with West Ham, obviously. Eventually it happened, and apparently we already had a verbal agreement with Sevilla well beforehand that this was going to be the X price, Zuma is going to be sold, and then we're going to pay you this money, and then we're going to get Jules Kounde. Jules Kounde has already agreed on personal terms, and he only wants Chelsea. He even rejected Spurs, I believe. Spurs, and I don't know, was he even interested with Arsenal? I'm not sure. I think it was Spurs and maybe Arsenal. Oh, no, not Arsenal. Spurs for sure.
No,
Spurs for sure.
It was definitely Spurs, but there was contention because apparently, according to Duncan Castles, and this was a quote around his camp, Kounde's camp, preferred Chelsea because he wasn't impressed, and this is an absolute legitimate claim. He was unimpressed with how Spurs are not competing in the Champions League and are not pushing for it on a regular basis. And that's the attraction of Chelsea at the moment, given their prospects are more brighter than what Spurs are at the moment. Legitimate claims.
Exactly. And this is why he didn't want to go to Spurs, and he only wants to come to Chelsea. And even till now, he only wants to come to Chelsea. He's penciled him down at somewhere in France. Obviously, he got the call up with France, but he didn't play against, I think it was Elche or whoever it was during the weekend. He refused to basically show up for that. And this guy desperately wants to come to Chelsea. Now, what has happened is Zuma deal is done, and we've now gone to pay the money. And all of a sudden, Sevilla's put a fast one on us saying, oh, wait a minute, here's going to be another 15 million euros more. So Chelsea's turned around and said, well, we had a verbal agreement. What's going on? So now, now we want more. Because Sevilla is also looking for another. I think they've already got a defender, but they were looking for Sven Botman from, I can't believe where he plays for. But anyway, they were looking for that particular player as well. But that situation hasn't developed yet. So they're a bit short in their numbers in the CB. So I can understand. But my issue is, two things. One, Sevilla, why are you pretending that you didn't know that Jules Kounde was leaving? You had all this time to work on a particular deal. Why are you waiting till now and acting like, oh, we can't get a defender, so we want to keep Jules Kounde? And the second part is, RJ, I want to hear from both of these things from you, is that some of the Chelsea fan base are now a bit toxic about the whole situation, saying, Marina out, she screwed up another deal, da-di-da-di-da. I mean, why are we being so ungrateful? We got Romelu Lukaku. That was the number one signing that we needed to make, and we got that. Everything else for me was a bit of a bonus. I do want Kounde. I really do, because I feel like he's for the future. But if Sevilla is going to do what they're doing, I don't want Chelsea to bend over backwards and give them the 15 million extra either. Do you know what I mean? We'll talk about the midfield situation down the track. But so far, the Jules Kounde situation, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, very good backdrop, and agree. Look, for me, if what we have been led to believe with the gentleman's or a handshake agreement took place and they've backflipped on us, then that's very poor form from Sevilla, because, we've had an agreement, they're going to get paid. And the question I would pose to the Sevilla board is that do you want to risk getting a bit more extra money at the expense of having a disgruntled player who's not going to now perform at their best and cause a lot of potential, disharmony in the dressing room? Because you're not going to get the same Kounde that you valued at the release clause that you've set at, because he doesn't want to be there. And we've talked, I know people say about Harry Kane, the situation in Tottenham. It's a different prospect here because his situation, his contract's winding down closer, and his window for opportunity is a lot greater versus Kane. So for me, it's a matter of when, not if, he leaves. So they should try to capitalise on that and not backflip, because they don't also want to set a precedent when doing business with other top clubs too, that you can't be taken seriously. I think part of it is the fact that they know that they can try to milk the metaphorical Chelsea cow, so to speak, and they're trying to test our resolve in this space. For me, I think what we should do is the fact we've got enough depth there in this season. Obviously, we weren't sure just how good Trevor Chalobah was going to rise in preseason, and I know it's not a direct like-for-like replacement, but losing Zuma doesn't necessarily, for me, mean that we need to throw all our chips all in to make sure we break the bank to bring in a Kounde, because I know the midfield stuff is that. But for me, I think, look, Kounde is a future buy. If we get him now, fantastic. If we don't, it's not necessarily going to derail this season. And I know that that's at loggerheads with what a lot of people are going to be saying online based on the quality he does bring. But I just think that he's not generational, quote unquote. He's a top player, but I just really don't want to do business with Sevilla if those rumours are to be believed.
Well, the article is saying that's the case, that they've increased it by 50 million. I want to hear what Rob has to say from a someone outside of the club looking in. I just want to talk about this comment here with Rob. Sir Miles is saying, what do you mean by fans being toxic? We need a defender and a midfielder before window ends. The board, again, trying to be too smart. Okay, I will tackle the midfielder down the track, but I want to talk about the defender first. Rob, we've got Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Christensen, Chalobah. Reece James can also fill in those areas, okay? So if I now specifically look at CBs, forget about Reece James because I think he's going to play more as a wingback. I've got Thiago Silva, Christensen, Rudiger, Azpilicueta, and Chalobah. Now, Chalobah was unexpected. That was not in the books. We didn't plan for Chalobah. That just happened coincidentally in this preseason where he absolutely blew people's mind. Zuma, that people are getting so worried about, oh, we shouldn't have sold Zuma before we got Kounde. Zuma is not someone who's penciled to play that many minutes this season anyway. He wasn't playing that many minutes last season. Yes, he did feature here and there when players were injured. He did feature, but he's not fancied by Thomas Tuchel. People need to understand that this player is not fancied by Thomas Tuchel. He only played last season is because we had to play him in certain scenarios due to injuries of other players. When everyone is fit, and in this season so far everyone is fit, and we've got Chalobah, Zuma was never ever going to play. He was never ever going to play. So him being sold, and I get that was the deal, that he was going to go one out, one in with Kounde. But now with Sevilla doing a fast one on us, if we can't get Kounde still wants us. I still believe that we can get him in January if he desperately wants us. So for me, this is not an end of the world situation. We did get Chalobah, who's another defender, and who has played in midfield in France for Lorient. Like, there are proper matches and highlights that he's played. So, Rob, what do you got to say from someone looking out and thinking about this situation, that the whole Zuma thing and the fan base is going to be worried that, oh, you sold Zuma, now you don't have Kounde? I mean, how do you see this situation?
Look, I think the Chelsea fans are crazy, man, because, number one, I have to say, as an outsider seeing in, I'm jealous of Chelsea, of the Marina chick. I think you guys do business nearly the best in the whole Premier League. That's our biggest issue at United is we keep bringing them in and we are the worst for getting them out. Yeah, we might get a couple loans here and there, but we've got the same issue. Perfect, like your Lingards of the world and stuff like that. Yeah. How you guys bought Lukaku, how you got sold him, and they pretty much paid for Lukaku. I'm literally jealous of that. And I just think that's top business. With the Kounde thing, look, looking from a Sevilla point of view, they can say he wants to go there. Chelsea are keen. They're going to say, hey, can we squeeze a few more million out of him? I think that's what it is. Like, I think you guys will still really get him over the line. If it's that, you guys might maybe say, okay, maybe an extra 2-3 million if they really, really want him. If not, I think you guys are got a lot of depth, like you said, and it's not the end of the world if you don't get him in 2 days. Because, like I said, his contract's winding down, and if you guys that maybe do get like an injury or something, and it comes to January, well, they're probably going to lose 20 million straight away. So I don't think, like I said, I know you guys are more desperate for your midfield, which, again, from looking out, I don't think is a bad thing. Also, I still think Chelsea's midfield is one of the best midfields in the Premier League. I know people I've read, they're a bit worried about the whole Kounde situation, not being able to play 60 games. He's very injury prone now, but I still think you guys have got so much quality there. I wouldn't be worrying at all.
It's a depth issue, Rob. It's a depth issue for us. It's not the face value, because he did get injured against Liverpool, Kounde. So that means you've only got Jorginho and Kovacic as your specialist pivot midfielders at the moment, although Chalobah could play in there if needed.
Yeah. So like I said, if from looking out or from where you guys point of view, I'm sure you guys will talk more about it. The midfield for me has got where you got to look for.
Yeah. I mean, look, the whole Jules Kounde, I'll get what Scott has to say about this as well before we talk about the midfield situation, because I've got some I've got some opinions on that, and sometimes people are making it seem like it's the end of the world if you don't get a midfielder. But Scott, the whole Jules Kounde situation, Zuma, I mean, what's going on? You're already laughing, thinking, man, this fan base is mad.
Miz, can you rattle through your centre backs again, just real quickly for me?
Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Andres Christensen, Rudiger, Chalobah. 5.
And you need Kounde. You've got fans that are losing the plot because you need Kounde. I hope, tell any of them fans to flick the channel over, tune into an Arsenal game, and they'll see a team that needs defenders. Look, I understand that every team wants depth, and Robbie will tell you, this is pointed the wrong way. Robbie will tell you this is one of the things him and I sometimes clash heads about. Like, there's plenty of love. We're good mates, but we clash because Robbie keeps telling me they need a defensive mid. I say you can't have every single hole filled in a team and then have all the reserves in waiting who are of that same class. I think some of the fans are delusional. And I know generally in here you've got some excellent people. The live chat's full of absolute champions, some really well-balanced people. That's why they come to a channel like this. But I just think it reeks of, I'm going to sound like an old man. I'm going to sound like a dad and a teacher here, which I am. Spoiled brats.
No, it's context,
it's absolute spoiled behaviour, mate. You've been treated too well over the years.
No, there's some context here that needs to be said here, because I agree when you say those names on face value, thumbs up. We are set. The context is this: Thiago Silva's 36, Andreas Christensen and Rudiger are off contract next season. That's 3 centre backs out of 5. Sorry?
That's getting old as well.
Number one priority is re-signing your 2 off contract. Don't worry about Kounde.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done, isn't it? What happens if they don't? Then you've got to future-proof your club. So the club's thinking about the long term here. If those 2 players, Rudiger's 29, he wants to chase mega dollars. If he's not happy with Chelsea's offer, there's one top centre back. Andreas Christensen's in a purple patch at the moment. He might want to test the waters with a bigger club that's known he's picked up form. He could go.
His one's getting signed. His contract extension apparently is happening very
Fingers
soon.
Crossed. Has it happened?
Where's Rudiger going?
The one is still in the balance.
Where's Rudiger going to chase massive bucks? Your Chelsea Football Club. If you're known for anything, you're known for the money you've got. Come on, man.
We've also known for but our wage structure, and that's why we haven't gone out and spent, is because we haven't thrown mega dollars for players that are above 30 years old. And if he wants a 3-4 year deal, because this is the last big contract he's going to get, it's just possible that the club's thinking ahead to not be put in a position where we're hostage to a good defender. So I definitely can understand the logic of us pushing for a Kounde. This season, though, it's not the priority. That's all I'm saying.
And I think that's the case, RJ. I mean, look, you're absolutely bang on. I'm still up for Kounde because it was a long-term thing. Because he's one of the best, if not the best, La Liga defender out there. Great ball playing ability, great dribbling ability, great just all up. In terms of fitting in Thomas Tuchel's sort of style of play from the back, he completely ticks that. But as you said, RJ, it's not the end of the world if we can't get him. And it's not like we're not trying to get him. We have tried. My whole issue here is that the fans are getting upset with Marina. And I don't understand why you're doing that. We have, as a football club, Chelsea has tried level best to get someone like Kounde because of everything RJ has said. It is a future investment because Azpilicueta is not going to be around forever. There is a whole situation with Rudiger. We don't know. Thiago Silva will leave. But for this season, we do have Chalobah coming in. So that's why I was like, well, this is a bit of a crazy scenario where the fan base is getting mad at Marina, where they really shouldn't. Quickly, let's talk about the midfield situation before we move on to Tammy Abraham. Rob, we'll let you go because you do need to go. But thank you so much for your time, Rob. Any sort of final messages you want to give out to the live chat? We've got nearly 170 live right now. So this is your moment, my man.
Look, much love to the live chat, mate. This is the first time I've been in for 170 people, so it's been awesome. Want to thank you all, but especially you, Miz. I get to be with the boys all the time. It was nice to finally meet you. I always tune in. A very balanced show for a Chelsea, for a Chelsea fan. We've talked before, very balanced. That's why I continue to tune in, and especially when we guys play each other, I always like to hear different content from different supporters. So yeah, thanks to everyone. Thanks to you. Enjoy the rest of the night, and we'll catch you again.
Thank you, Rob. Take care, my man. Take care. Bye.
Hey, Miz, before you throw to RJ, I know you guys want to talk midfield. I just want to make one more point really quickly, if I can, on the Kounde and the Marina slander.
Yeah.
One thing people are neglecting as well, because again, I know there's heaps of comments in the chat saying we expect the best, that's why we're winners. Great, expect the best, absolutely, but you're not always going to get every player you want. And if you then, what Sevilla have done is it's poor professionalism. If there was a handshake, gentleman's agreement, and now they've waited.
Global agreement.
Miz, they've deliberately waited for you to sell Zuma, and then up their price. They're trying to play hardball with you. Now, you can't, as a club, you guys are a big club, you're huge. You can't be bullied like that. They're trying to be Romelu Lukaku, and they're treating you as if you're Pablo Mari. Like, you can't get bullied like that either. And I think Marina's doing the right thing. I actually really like what Marina's doing. She's saying, you know what? No, we had a deal. We're Chelsea Football Club. You've said this, and now you're trying to do the dirty on us. See you later. See you later. And I would hope that they now, well, I wouldn't hope, but the tactic I actually think is quite smart, because if you set that precedent, what's to stop then when you try and sign a midfielder, the club that you're signing the midfielder from saying, oh, well, hey, Sevilla up their price, so we're going to do the same to you. And then everyone, you can't be made to look like mugs by Sevilla.
You don't understand how many clubs try to mug us all the time because they know that we've got the dough, right? Look at the situation with Lukaku. We've done so well to get rid of so many players.
Absolutely.
I saw in private message, and I was going to allude to this. We're on a positive net spend after getting Lukaku for £98 million. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've been able to get rid of so many of these players who are just going to stick around in the football club and just earn money for not doing much. And we've been able to get rid of, albeit some young superstars as well, but at the end of the day, they wouldn't have got minutes here at the moment. We've just got too much of a strong team. We're European champions level. These players are not going to get the time. So anyway, we've let them go. We've made money, and we're in a positive net spend. This whole Zuma situation, the way I look at it is, Sevilla, you want to play hardball? Play hardball, because this player only wants to join us. You need to remember this. You're not in the driving seat here. Your player come January will knock on the door again. And you know what? You thought we were going to pay you 70, 60 million euros or whatever the case was after the 15 million increase that you did. Come January, it's going to be even less because it's another 6 months that's gone. So it's at your own detriment. And this is what I've always said. And I want to hear what RJ has to say about this as well. The whole Harry Kane situation, for example, right, RJ? You've got a player that really didn't want to stick around with you. And then another season will go by and you think he's going to be worth X amount of money next season. He won't. And who knows what's going to happen to him, injuries and whatnot. He may not even be fancied anymore in the market. Similarly with Kounde, RJ, we're willing to give you a handsome amount of money. If you're not willing to take this player, you're going to have a player that's not wanting to play for you. Literally did not want to be in your lineup against the last opposition in the weekend that just went by. He's camped himself at France because he doesn't want to play for you. Take the money.
He's not an asset anymore. That's the point that I made before. It's one thing to want to dig your heels in and get the price you feel is justified, but the trade-off is you get that bit more, but it's the difference in between here is that net gain. Is it net gain? Because essentially you are holding out for a little bit extra more money at the risk that A, he goes anyway for cheaper, 2, he doesn't play with you, or worst case scenario, again, he does come back, kicks up a stink, gets the rest of the squad to turn on the club saying they're going to do to you what they've done to me. Why are we busting our guts off? Let's give 50% or less each week and tank Sevilla's season, because let's not be naive here. We've all got friends. We've all played in teams before. We're all very tight knit when we're in these teams. You know how it goes. It's locker room talk, and they'll know that he's been hard done by because they back a teammate more often than not, and no doubt that they're going to perform less than what they would have if he left, because at least you've got a harmonious dressing room. They should be forward planning, not trying to hold on to something that's inevitable. So I'm baffled the fact that they're doing a U-turn and trying to be a bit cute here, but I think it's, like I said, inevitable. He's a goner. It's just a matter of when, not if.
100%. And it's not always Chelsea's fault, ladies and gentlemen. It's not always the hierarchy's fault. You do need to see the picture at times that look at all the good things that we've done, man. Look at all the good things that we've done. Like, Scott is literally baffled that we're even talking about this because he's thinking, I can't believe these spoiled brats are sitting here and talking about issues with their club. As you can imagine, what's going on.
You can have Kolasinac. We'll throw you Kolasinac dirt. We'll actually pay you the 15 million that Sevilla want to take him. So next time your fans are upset,
so we get Kounde and Kolasinac.
100%. You know what? We might even chuck him Rob Holding. But next time your fans,
what are you going to do? That's your 2 out of the 3 in the back 3, man.
They might play better with less players.
Go and look at our defense. Go and look at our defensive lineup against Man City, and then come back and complain about Marina.
Yeah, man, it's unbelievable.
She's smashing it. As
Rob said, Man United, and this isn't an issue just for Man United. I'm pretty sure it's an issue for you guys as well in Arsenal. You can't get rid of your fringe players.
No.
Bellerin, you can't get rid of Bellerin.
Let alone making over 98 million in doing so.
Exactly.
Like, insane. And what are we doing? We're keeping players we don't want and extending contracts. Marina is absolutely a don. Keeper, she's smashing it. She's so good.
You guys had to get William to say from himself, I will cancel my contract so that you're not in the mud anymore. Because
low key.
That's respectful from William.
I've criticised him on the pitch, and you guys know what I'm like. I'll criticise, I'll praise, but it's always in isolation. It's never personal. It never crosses that line to abuse. As much as his performances on the pitch were awful for us, credit to him for having the passion for the game to say, all right, I'm done here. I'm not going to play. you know what, I don't care about the money. I'll make less, but I'm going to go and play football. Something that old mate Mesut Ozil could probably learn from. And you know, I'd love to be champions of Europe with negative net spend. I'd love to be. Wouldn't faze me.
I mean, let's talk about this particular comment, RJ. Let's touch on this because these are so Mars. Thank you for bringing up all these comments because this is literally the other side of the coin now. You're bringing something that we are not saying, which is creating a great discussion. Guys, let's get the likes up to well over 100, literally 18 away from 100 likes. 174 of you guys are live right now. We've got a few more other topics to speak about before we wrap things up. Smash the like button, number one. Get those likes up to well over 100 and check out the boys and their YouTube channel. It's a Football Thing podcast. The link is pinned to the comment right now. It's in the pinned messages. Please click on the link and let's get the guys to 400 subscribers, please. Honestly, I do want you guys to get down there and subscribe because what you enjoy here, you're pretty much going to enjoy in their channel as well. And if you can't see the pinned message, check out the link in the description, please. Let's help the boys out to get to 400 subscribers. They're literally about 40 odd subscribers away, and we've got 170 live. Let's do that. RJ, so Miles is now saying, so now we are about the net spend. Champions of Europe's, we negative net spend. Look, key thing, Champions of Europe, our squad, this is the other thing. The fan base is acting as if the squad is rubbish. The squad is supreme. Thomas Tuchel has said it in the press conference that he does not want Chelsea to rush into any deal. He does not want Chelsea to rush into any deal. He already knows the squad is great. But yes, he said if there's opportunities, we'll back up the squad where needed. The whole Jules Kounde situation, I wanted Jules Kounde. But it is what it is with Sevilla. Hopefully we can go and get him in January. For the time being, we've got Chalobah, who was not penciled in our plans. So he's a player that was not even in this whole, thought process.
Wasn't exactly right.
So he's a new player that's come in. So let's celebrate that. And you guys literally, not that long ago, was celebrating a player like Chalobah to the point where you're saying he should be starting ahead of Azpilicueta. You were saying that. I remember you were saying that. And now that he's now not playing, and this is the other issue, out of sight, out of mind, classic fan base mentality with us. As soon as Chalobah doesn't play for a few games, all of a sudden he's not worth it. But yeah, literally few game weeks ago, you guys wanted him. Now, RJ, I want to talk about the whole midfield situation with this whole net spend BS, right?
Yeah.
I think a midfielder is needed, RJ. I get that. I do understand that. But I think let's look at it logically. I want to see what Scott has to say about this down the track as well. Club's first choice was Declan Rice. That's not happening this season. Declan wanted to push for it. He's not going for contract extension. He's not taking anything up. He's annoyed at West Ham that they're not listening to anything around 60 million. Okay? So that's that. West Ham's got the power there because of the number of contract years left in Declan Rice. We are still, apparently, Matt Law said, he's the first priority next season. So something to look forward to, Declan Rice there. Whether you like it or not, that's what Chelsea wants. I've got other options, but it is what it is. Saul, loan option, but it seems like Saul's 50-50. He's sort of flirting around with Man United. He's looking at his options. He's not really committing one way or another. And apparently there's a lot of wages to pay for his loan as well. So there's that issue that you guys need to understand. You do need to understand. We can't just be throwing wages like that because if we did, we would have got Erling Haaland in the team. We don't throw wages around like that. Okay, so that's another thing, especially for a loan player. Last season, please tell me the fourth midfielder, how many minutes did he play? Please tell me how many minutes he played. The fourth midfielder was Billy Gilmore, and he barely played any minutes, so much so that he had to get loaned out. Now, I'm not saying this is ideal. I do want us to get a midfielder. But the context is that Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic will play bulk of the matches. They will play bulk of the matches. Now, Kante is getting injured more often, but that doesn't mean that he's not even going to play one game a week. Kante hopefully gets over the injury, will at least be playing 2, not 3 a week, because soon we will start playing 3 games a week with Champions League and 2 games in the weekends. So one on one weekend, then the midweek, and then the other weekend. I'm pretty sure Kounde won't be able to play all 3, but he will be expected to play at least 2. And if that's the case, then you still have Jorginho and Kovacic, and Jorginho will play predominantly the most of the season. He may get the odd game here and there with the Carabao Cup, like against Aston Villa. You won't see Jorginho play. In the FA Cup first few rounds, you won't see Jorginho play. But predominantly all of the Premier League games, you will see Jorginho play. He's not someone who needs game after game after game after game after rest. So that fourth midfielder, we still have options in the likes of Ethan Ampadu. Don't forget, Chalobah can still do that as well. He did that against Liverpool, literally the game before. I know a lot of you guys would say that, but he played more as a CB. So be it. He can still do that. So, Arjo, what I want to ask you is that it's not ideal. We do want a midfielder. But if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. We have a solid squad at least. And if it becomes a major issue, we still have the January situation. I mean, I feel like people are disrespecting this squad a bit too much.
Yeah, no, look, I understand that. I just think it's a natural situation for us where we have genuine competition across each position now, which we highlighted the centre-backs, our forward areas. Look who's the starters there. You've got Lukaku, Mount, and Havertz. And then you've got, just for the side, you've got Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, and Christian Pulisic. Hudson-Odoi can play left wing. And I know Scott's thinking, geez, we haven't got many options to select from. But you look at the DM situation, we have loaned out Gilmour. We have now Kounde injured for the second time this season in 3 games. Jorginho, for as technically gifted, he's not the most physical specimen, and therefore I think would struggle to play 90 minutes each week across all competitions. Mateo Kovacic has had injury issues in the past. So this is just a bit of risk management and insurance from the club, I think, in trying to safeguard themselves from that, worst case scenario where both of those midfielders wipe themselves out in a short space of time, especially, like you said, when the crunch time hits. Champions League, FIFA World Cups, Premier League, we're chasing titles across all competitions, and the squad is needed, not the team. I'm actually a big fan of having some of our players being trialled in those positions. Like we said, we've got Chalobah, which I know Tuchel's alluded to. We know Reece James has played in DM based on his days in the Championship in the worst case scenario and had a couple of occasions last season. Even Andreas Christensen has played DM before for Switzerland.
Ethan Ampadu as well.
Ethan Ampadu is obviously a clear DM who can play CB. So I think there is versatility. It's just, is that versatility, how much of a gap or gulf in class is that versatility versus the specialists in Jorginho, Kounde, and Kovacic? It probably would be material. Like, I think they're here. Those guys are probably here. And based on the importance of that role in managing the transition risk and really circulating that ball upstream, I do think, for me, it's been an area of concern for some time now, particularly because of the injuries. Like you said, last season, it was those that played the majority of games, and Gilmour got a handful and played a good time in that handful. But it's just, for me, like the rest of those other positions, it would be nice to have that cover. We haven't even gotten the prognosis on Kounde and how long that could be out for. Thankfully, it's international break. But if he's done his ankle again, like they've said, and they said, oh, yeah, by the way, he's 4 weeks out, that's a long time not to have the world-class Kounde there, even though Jovic are good together, and I love watching them play. But again, we saw Jorginho go down the other day in the first half against Liverpool. And now, you know what I mean? Like, we're looking a bit light there. And I do not think that based on who our options are as a backup, that they quite cut it in terms of maintaining that same fluidity and understanding.
They don't.
But for me, that's why I think I wouldn't want to go out now and buy Declan Rice because it's not feasible. Next season he's a lot cheaper, so let's pounce on him then. But players like Tchouameni, who are available, are not going to be demanding first team minutes in our stacked midfield, but are someone that at least are promising and can actually rise to the occasion.
They'll get minutes, RJ.
Exactly, but they won't be established superstars that are going to, cause friction in the dressing room saying, why aren't I starting each game? Because no one's going to be demanding minutes over the FIFA Men Player of the Year and arguably the other better midfielder in Kounde anyway. So, you know what I mean? Getting a prospect in that position just gives us that extra protection. That's all it's about, I think. But if we sign the book off now, no more players, provided that we don't get any monumental injuries, I'm happy with our squad, full stop.
No, you're right. You've put on some compelling points, and I think this is what the live chat is saying as well. I just get very, very annoyed where people start mugging off Marina and Chelsea. They start this toxicity that, this club again doesn't back a manager. Honestly, stop. You don't need to force the hate. You really don't need to force. There's not much to hate at the moment. There's a lot to love and lot to like and lot to back. Because the hate, yeah, exactly. The hate can come very soon. You just don't worry. You all remember the end of Frank Lampard era. It was toxic. So let's not create that vibe. Enough with all the Chelsea stuff. Let's talk about Serie A. Scott, one Tammy Abraham absolutely lit up Roma. I saw the highlights of that game. Oh my God. I can't believe it's the same Tammy Abraham. Link up, hold up, movement, shooting. Mourinho ball was in full effect. I don't know if you saw the second goal, Scott, which was, can't remember who the player was, but their second goal, it was a movement that started from Tammy Abraham deep from midfield, close to the sideline. And then he sort of wins, traps the ball, controls the ball, drives upwards through the midfield, lays it off to, I think... Veretout, yeah. And then he finds Mkhitaryan then finds Tammy 1-2 passes. Mickey then puts in Veretout scores. Unbelievable finish. And then I think Tammy Abraham scored the third one. First touch inside, but just outside the box, or just inside the box. And first touch absolutely whips the shot. Keeper had no chance. I mean, can this be... Is this one of those scenarios where this guy just needed to be out of this whole scenario at Chelsea and be loved again and could turn out to be a monster of a striker?
I think it's a combination of things. I think there are many factors at play. One, the Serie A is played at a much slower pace. Okay, so he's getting a little bit more time there. He's not pressed as hard as he would be in the Premier League. He's benefiting from consistency. He's probably benefiting from feeling loved. Because I have no doubt, and you can see there's a real mixed reaction, but a lot of Chelsea fans still think quite highly of him and seem to be talking that he'll be back one day. But I think actions speak louder than words, and when you're not getting consistent minutes, you need to find them. So I think he's benefiting from the minutes. He's benefiting from a master tactician in Jose. And look, like Robbie's just said, they've got some good players in the squad. And I think he's an excellent addition.
They honestly have a very good team.
He's a good player. He's a good player, good signing. He's someone who would have been good in the other part of London. But it's nice to see him playing well because I like Tammy Abraham as well. So it's good to see him playing well. Hopefully he stays injury-free and can just keep, banging on this season.
Yeah, man. RJ, I was sort of scouting through this morning when the game finished on social media, especially Instagram. He's very, very available in Instagram. And his Instagram stories were buzzing. It was all just his goals and Roma and whatnot. And I was just genuinely so happy about this player that I want him to be happy. I want him to be loved. And it looks like Jose is giving him the love. I mean, how are you feeling about this situation? Because I believe we do have a buyback on him.
We do, 80 million euro, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, look, he started off really well. And again, like with any team this season, it's a couple of games in. He's looked very sharp. The team that they versed, Salernitana, they're no world beaters, with all respect to them. But ultimately, I think Rob's highlighted a good point about some of the good players there that they do have. And obviously, Mourinho, for all of his flaws about, the third year syndrome and, all those concerns about his distractions at times, what he is good at doing is galvanizing a squad and really maximizing a team, at least in the early stages. Like, I think that's sometimes a bit underrated about his quality, especially if he if he has a few senior players as well as some young athletic, prospects, I think he's just got that ability to really tap into the psyche and to get them to push that little bit harder. And you'd be surprised, like they talk about new manager bounce. I think sometimes when you're a player on the fringes of a squad, you also get new club bounce, and you just need to have someone in a totally different environment. And again, he would have been, as you said, he's very active on social media. He would have been fully conscious of all of the talk about, especially from, unfortunately, the Chelsea community at times, when he wasn't playing or when he played and he didn't quite deliver. He would have felt some of that, not so sensational behaviour from the Blues fans. So going over to a foreign country, experienced manager, new teammates, it's a breath of fresh air to just focus on football, because we know he's talented and he just needs an opportunity to not let distraction and 24/7 scrutiny get in the way. So I think early days, promising signs, and I'm glad that the club has taken the steps to give himself that buyback option, just in case we do see an evolution in his game, because the context is he's only very young still, 22 or 23, whatever it is. So he's got, even if he develops over there for 2-3 years and comes back to the Premier League after that, that's a very good nurture in his development.
100%. I'm really, really looking forward to the kind of season Tammy's going to have. But Scott, some other interesting results as well. Lazio, once again, Sarri is going out there power for power. I think they won 6-1 over the weekend. I need to go and watch that match because I want to follow every Lazio game this season as much as I can, because Sarri is someone I just enjoyed watching when he was a Chelsea manager. Inter Milan obviously going out there winning again. I'm sure RJ would have been very proud of that. AC Milan, Giroud bagging a brace there too. So, and Napoli as well. I think they won 3-1 or something.
And Juve as well, Miz, losing to Empoli.
Yeah,
I know I probably haven't said that right, but
yeah, they lost to Empoli. Where is Juve, by the way? There you
12th.
go. 12. I mean, no Cristiano Ronaldo, new manager. They're still a class team. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of competition. I mean, Scott, have you been able to watch much of Serie A or?
No, I'm not going to lie. I didn't get too much this week. I was watching the Old Firm, and that busted me. But I don't know if we'll get to that soon. But yeah, haven't caught a lot. But I did see Giroud's goals. He's such an underrated player. God, he's underrated. He's just a great player. And I love seeing him score goals. So yeah, big ups to my man Giroud.
And big ups to Empoli as well. That was a big result against Juventus, and I did watch that game, and it was nice to see from an Azzurri point of view, even though I'm an Inter Milan fan, to see Locatelli playing for Juventus and having a go there. I think it'll take time for him to find his feet, but he was one of the players that looked to at least inject himself into the game and was quite active in and around Empoli's penalty area and was very close on a couple of occasions to getting onto the end of a dangerous ball or two. But Juventus looked very clunky, I've got to say, and they're just a team that's lost that little bit of fluidity. And I do believe Rob's correct in saying before that they will be better for this, not having the focal point being Ronaldo. As good as he is individually, sometimes that's a bit of a distraction collectively, having a very narrow point of focus. So for me, I think they will come good. It's just at what point will they come good, and will it be a little bit too late when you've got other contenders that are thriving like Lazio's, Napoli, Inter, AC, and of course Roma now staking their claim. So as an Italo-Australian, I'm very proud to see that the Serie A is actually returning to its former glory days.
No, 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, look, we probably had planned for a few other ones to talk about as well, but we are concerned about how much we've streamed today. The time, we've nearly gone about 1 hour, 40 minutes. We'll probably wrap it up here. Next week on Monday, we'll try and see if we can squeeze in maybe the French League and the Spanish League, and talk a little bit about the Scottish League as well, the scenario that's happening there. But yeah, I hope you guys have really, really enjoyed this particular stream. Nearly 150 of you guys still here. We've talked about a whole heap of different things. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button. We're literally only 7 more likes away from 100 likes for the stream. I think that'll be a really, really good achievement for this particular collaboration between the other side of the coin and It's a Football Thing podcast. So please do that. Let's get to 100 likes. And also, ladies and gentlemen, please, let's get the boys up to 400 subscribers. The link is in the description for the boys. It's a Football Thing podcast. Scott and RJ and Rob, they do run that particular YouTube channel over there. So please go out there and follow. It's in the description. The link, I sincerely ask each and every one of you guys, 130 right now, go out there and subscribe to them because they are absolute legends. And it's also pinned in the messages right now in the comments section. The link is there. Click on it, subscribe, and you get to see the boys on a regular basis as well. Let's help them get to 400 subscribers. Boys, what are we at the moment? How much did we increase?
Big ups. We've had about 10 people take up that call to jump over, but I know we've already got some from this channel who join us regularly too. So you're declared to the world. Declared's always say he's a good man. But we would love more of you to join us. Balanced chat, plenty of Chelsea talk, plenty of Arsenal banter at my expense. And if you want to support things like Down Under Football Crew, that's a good way to do it. But yeah, thank you to those who have jumped over. We appreciate your support.
Brilliant. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. 6 likes away from 100. Let's get those likes up. And until next time, everyone, take care.